Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're watching. And welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon, a retired NYPD detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or when I go or upload another video. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Maya Millete case. We're going to give you some updates. We have special guests, her sister, Maricris and Richard. We have a retired homicide detective, Sergeant Bill Cannon. He is going to be joining us to supplement this live stream with his expertise. And I want to say quickly, a special thank you to all my Patreon supporters, my channel members, and everybody who positively interacts in all of the cases that we cover. Whether it's a missing persons case or a murder case, we do it with respect and dignity. And that's what I love about our true crime community. So thank you to moderators, the replay viewers. Hey, Steve, my over-the-road trucking friend, Dawn Marie, Mimi J2, Annalise is here, Fuzzy Doxy, 12-Step Woman, Facebook user is here, Charleston Amy. Everybody is here. I see. Everyone's in place. I have a 2-minute mini media clip that I want to show you. It's developing. This is the documents that Larry Millete filed with the court. And he was so silly and so not thinking. He thought it would be a private rule, issued to the court, his requests. He thought that the documents that he sent into the court weren't going to be public record. Well, guess what, silly? It is public record, and now the news is talking about it. So we're going to listen to that quickly, and then I'm going to introduce my guests. So please bear with me as we watch this quick piece of media.
News 8's David Gottfredson spoke with Maya's sister and brother-in-law about these recent developments and shares their reaction as they continue to hold out hope Maya will be found.
It sounded like, yeah, he is wants his guns back. And
Maya's sister and brother-in-law responded Wednesday to a declaration filed in court by Larry Millete, where he says he was detained by Chula Vista police officers for 6 hours on May 7th, while investigators served a search warrant on his home and seized firearms. I am an avid gun collector, and the firearms seized from my home twice are considered family heirlooms and have sentimental value, Millete said in his declaration.
Now he's acting like he's the victim.
The brother-in-law, Richard said the police had probable cause to take the guns.
The police did their investigation. There's a reasoning behind the guns being taken away and all the search warrants that they served at his house.
In his court filing, Millete also claimed he was a nonviolent person and not responsible for his wife's disappearance. Quote, the Chula Vista Police Department spokeswoman said there was no indication of foul play. I am not a suspect.
He is a suspect, with any missing spouse. The spouse is the primary suspect, and I did told him that since the beginning.
Late Wednesday afternoon, the Chula Vista Police Department issued an update in the case, saying investigators have written 44 search warrants in the case, interviewed 64 individuals, and reviewed 93 tips and investigative leads. Now, all these court filings are leading up to a court hearing next week, Tuesday, where a judge is going to have to decide whether to extend a temporary gun violence restraining order against the husband. We'll be there. We've filed paperwork to be there, and we'll let you know what happens.
And David, you recently reported that Maya's parents have also filed a case in family court seeking visitation with their 3 grandchildren. What's going on at this point with that case?
Still no hearing set in that case, mainly because they can't find Larry Millete to serve him the court papers. Maricris told me today that their family attorneys have tried 4 or 5 times to serve the husband with court papers for that family court case, and still they're not having any luck tracking him down.
No shortage of activity, but Maya is still missing. David Gottfredson reporting. Thanks, David.
So there you have it, folks. That's a little bit of what's going on here. in this case. Larry, again, is continuing to be evasive and trying to pull slick maneuvers. Joining me tonight is no slouch. This is police off the cuff co-host Bill Cannon, retired NYPD Detective Sergeant from the Homicide Squad in Manhattan North. Bill, thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure.
Great to be here, Ron.
Thank you. And you know, when I reach out to my fellow brothers and sisters in the NYPD, no matter who it is, Bill has turned me on to Irma Rivera and so many great ones. Look at Joe Murray is responsible and comes straight through from Bill Cannon. So thank you for all you do over on Police Off the Cuff. If you guys are not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff, I will link it down below in the description. He is running a tremendous channel there with his true crime stories. You don't want to miss an episode on Police Off the Cuff. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, DutyRon.
Hey, so let's talk quickly because Maricris and Richard are going to be joining us shortly. Let's talk quickly about Maya Millete, reported missing by her sister, January 7th of 2021. Here we are almost 6 months later. The 7th of July, we'll be talking about 6 months. Give the audience a little bit of what you feel and what you're thinking about this case.
Look, I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind, whether you're a professional homicide investigator or an amateur homicide investigator, that Larry Millete is suspect numero uno. And whether they have enough circumstantial evidence right now to charge him, that's their decision. And they want to have such a strong case once they pull the trigger on this guy that they want to make sure they can get a conviction. Right. And as I've said before, time is on their side. They can take their time building a case. They don't have to rush. There's no reason for them to rush. But the whole thing with him getting his guns back, any judge that gives him his guns back is out of his mind.
He's going to have his head examined because it is a definite liability. A man in his position, the way he's acting, the things that he's done in the past, he has a history of being unstable. Listen, I have our very special guests, Maricris and Richard. I don't want to let them sit in the green room too long because I value them and I love and respect them. So let me join in on the live stream, Maricris and Richard. Thank you so much for being here. Can you guys hear me? I don't know. Maybe they might be having some difficulties. Guys, can you hear us? All right, I'm going to try to remove him and add him back. Rich, it sounds like he's trying to plug in. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a minute and see if they can get it together. It looks like they're freezing up. But they are going to join us. They're going to give us a couple of words and to talk about what's going on. I definitely want to get their boots on the ground. They're doing the searches every week. I think they're out there almost every day. So they're going to work hard to get their media together. Looks like they're just having a little bit of problem with the mic, but we'll see if they can make it back in. Let's see. So it looks like their mic is muted. Hi, Maricris. Can you hear? Can you hear us? No, I guess not. All right, that's the trouble with media, and they're out in probably in some remote area doing whatever they're doing at this time. So just bear with us with them, and they will be back joining. So, Bill, again, a judge would have to be out of his mind to give this guy his guns back, and I think there's a hearing on the 22nd of this month, so it should be sometime next week. Don't hold me to that date. It's either the 21st or 22nd. And there's going to be a remote hearing. I mean, really, would you think a judge would give this guy back all of his weapons?
I think that a judge would have to be crazy to give him back his weapons, especially early on in this investigation. There was a report of 8 gunshots coming from the vicinity of their house. In fact, they have an audio recording of that. Right. So even all of the, as I've said numerous times, circumstantial evidence, when there's a lot of it, is very, very strong evidence. And this case probably will have to be built upon circumstantial evidence, because if they never recover a body, they're going to have to go forward without that. And is it impossible to get a homicide conviction without a body? No, it's not. It's been done before, and it's been done numerous times before. And as I said, going back to circumstantial evidence, and that's why the police are taking their time, the prosecutors taking their time, and they're building as strong a case as they possibly can against, I think, against Larry Millete.
And I tend to agree with you on that, Bill. How many, in your experience, now you are a well-versed homicide detective sergeant. You're a homicide investigator. You've taught classes on how to investigate homicides. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, you're correct. Yeah.
So you have taught the homicide course. In your, during your time, I mean, how many cases have you investigated where there were no body, or that you supplemented? Did you have many of those? I mean, I know they were kind of rare in New York City, but they did exist, correct?
Ron, I know there's at least 2 cases. I didn't personally work on them, but 2 cases in New York City. One was a doctor named Birnbaum, who killed his wife. He threw her in the back of his car, drove to an airport, a private airport, got in a plane. He was a pilot, threw her in the plane, and dumped her into the Atlantic Ocean. Her body was never, ever found. And he was convicted. And this was back in 2000. And actually, he may be out by now, because he was sentenced to 20 to life. And so he's certainly eligible for parole right now.
Right.
And there was another one recently where it happened on the Upper West Side, where a guy killed his wife. We believe he strangled her, and he was never charged in the beginning. In fact, they buried her without doing an autopsy.
Oh.
And the family got very suspicious, and they exhumed the body, and they found out she in fact was strangled, and they ruled it a homicide after the fact. She was Orthodox Jewish, and they didn't believe in autopsies.
Wow. I have Maricris and Richard back, and I'm going to say thank you to them. Thank you so much I sent you a message to restart the phone. I hope that worked. So.
Yeah.
Well, we actually kind of moved.
We got to move.
We have moved our space, so.
Okay. Hi, guys. So I have here.
Thank you.
I have here with me retired homicide detective sergeant Bill Cannon. You know me. He is a great friend of mine. I would never introduce you to anybody who is not going to be able to help or supplement or answer questions that you guys might have. Please, if you guys can, I mean, we all love and appreciate everything that you guys are doing. You know that we're behind you. We're your national and international cheerleading and community that are rallying behind you. Could you please give the audience some updates or anything that you have going on now?
Nothing really aside from what it's been out in the news. I know, just that, that restraining order for the gun violence that's been out there, and the court declaration that he did, that's out in the news. And of course, we're still doing our weekly searches, and we're still trying to see, how we could, be able to get a visitation for my mom and my dad for their grandkids. So that's all just, it's all in the works right now. So hopefully we'll have it soon.
Yeah. I'm following this case so closely. For me, those are some major sticking points. The not being able to see the kids for you guys is agonizing. It's not like it's not enough that your beloved sister is missing and we have no answers, right? But now holding the kids hostage, so to speak, I think that is just such a double victimization. And Bill, I don't know, you and I spoke about this. Maricris and Richard were very frustrated last week with the Chula Vista Police Department, and they made it clear on some of their news briefings and things of that nature. They got questioned and called in. Do you have anything that you can tell Maricris and Richard that would help them kind of understand maybe why they would have done something like that, Bill?
Well, in the homicide investigation, everyone is a suspect. And I'm not saying that you're still listed as suspects, but everyone in the investigation, you have to extend a wide net for everyone. So they may have been taking their time. I would have thought that you should have been interviewed much sooner than right now. This is what we're at 5-6 months, right, into this investigation. And that's part of something they call the victimology. And that's the study of the background of the victim, which includes interviews of all friends, family members, searching her work history, cars she owns, her financials. All of those things are important. And yes, interviewing family members is critical and very, very important. And, I don't know what their reasoning was for not interviewing you guys sooner, but 100% you should have been interviewed, I would think, a little sooner than 5 months into it,
Right. We thought, we did express, I mean, we know they did explain to us that it does need a little bit of time, on the investigation, that, we need to get some patience. And at times, it's kind of hard for us, the family, it is hard to say, just be patient but we understand. We need to work with the police department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron, just be 100% clear. Our frustration wasn't towards the CVPD as much as it is towards Larry, and keeping the kids away from us. The kids have missed so many holidays and birthdays that we usually would spend the time with them, and it's kind of like he's not cooperating at all.
Richard, his conduct is making him an even bigger suspect. That's
Right.
why, he's not cooperating at all. He's making himself scarce. They can't even serve him with a court order. You guys can't see your relatives. That's not helping him as the suspect that he is.
Right. So that was our frustration with him. It's just we're not calling him a suspect or anything. We just want to see the kids. That's all we want to do. We just want to hang out with the kids, the cousins.
Yeah.
They grew up together. Almost every weekend they would hang out, and they become so close. And for them to miss 3 other cousins, not there for the birthdays and stuff, it's hard. It's hard for the whole family. The little ones see it too,
Right.
So
Especially with my mom and my dad too. Not knowing where their daughter is.
Right.
And to the point where they can't even see their 3 grandkids, with
right.
her daughters and sons. So it is really, really hard on them too, seeing them like really sad.
It amplifies the whole dynamic of this horrible situation that we're in. Now,
Right.
We all have common sense. You're smart, we're smart, and, we're investigators. I did investigations for over 20 years, Bill, almost 30 years. So we know a dirty scene when we see one. And, because we are outsiders and we're not active law enforcement now, it doesn't mean that it's not still ingrained in us. So we, like Chris McDonough, he's a great, friend of yours, and I know he's supporting you guys tremendously. He put me onto this case with you guys and said, hey, Ron, I know you can help these guys. I know you can help get the voice out there. And Bill and I spoke about it. It is so important. And you guys are doing such a great job of keeping Maya's name out there, keeping May's name out there. It is important that you continually talk about it. Bill, do you want to take over on that and tell them how important that is?
Yeah, I mean, look, this investigation, the police know the ins and outs of it, but the public, you have to use the public to help you in an investigation like this. Because, look, say there's 50 people working on this case. There's thousands and thousands of people out there in the public. There's social media. There's television. There's all these things you can use to your benefit. Get the word out there. Someone may see something. Someone may know something. At this point, 5-6 months in, playing secret squirrel from the law enforcement end, it's not helping you. You got to be open and let people know what's going on.
Right. Well, you're right. That's why we do these interviews. We don't say no to nothing. We've done interviews at 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
Wow.
Just to, and it's okay. We gotta do it for our sister. She would be doing it for us. And and back to Larry, just help us. It's been 6 months, and You know how close the family is. You've been in the family for 21 years. You know how close the type of alliances were. You know, with the grandkids.
Right.
Just he's cornering himself, and it shouldn't be that way. Just come out and help us. Be,
Right.
let's, you're a loving husband. Let's find your wife.
That's what we've been asking from him since the beginning too. We're not pointing fingers at him or anything like that. We've been asking him since the start, please. I know at the beginning he told me, Chris, you take care, take care, the media and stuff, and I did. But then after a while, it's been after a month or so, it's just getting longer, and he never stepped in and say, hey, Chris, tell me how could I help you, or how can we work together to find my wife. He never stepped in and say anything like that. He just let us do all the interviews and all the searches, and not a single one he joined any of our searches, or he even tried to call us and reach out to us and say, hey, how could I help you guys, or hey,
How did it go? How
yeah.
was it? Did you guys find anything? Any updates on my wife? Nothing. Not once. He's never reached out to us and asked to him. But you take his guns away, and he loses
Yeah.
everything.
That's a clear and evident sign of, for me, deception, non-trust, guilt. Bill, I mean, we have a case that we were talking about from California City where adoptive parents had a 3 and 4-year-old little boy go missing, and they haven't come out on one search. What kind of a sign for investigators, Bill? You're, like I said, a retired detective homicide sergeant, 27 years. When you have one side of the family like Maricris and Richard, and probably her parents and all of the people from her side that are willing to do handstands, to stand on top of a rooftop and scream her name out, and search in the desert, search in vacant, desolate areas and dangerous areas where there's rattlesnakes and mountain lions and all different kinds of stuff, risking life and limb. And you have this guy who says he went to the beach for 12 hours without a phone. That was in the get-go. That is the dirty mess from the beginning. That's how it started from the beginning. All of this stuff doesn't make any sense. And for him, a father of 3 beautiful children and a beautiful wife, to now just go silent and non-communicate, what kind of a telltale sign is that, Bill?
Well, I'll tell you something. That speaks volumes about his character. It speaks volumes, in my opinion, about his guilt. Because if he was really had no culpability in this case, he'd be out there helping and trying to find his wife. But because he knows what happened to his wife, and that's one of the reasons he's not helping. So we have to face it. He is suspect number 1, and they're right now the police, the Chula Vista Police, they're trying to build a case. And when they have enough, when the soup's ready, they're going to pull the trigger. And I guarantee you, he's going to be the one that's going to get locked up. And one other thing I just wanted to ask you, Richard and Maricris, are the kids staying at their house?
Yes, yeah. So his parents is with them, with the kids. So basically, they're actually taking care of the kids. So I give them credit for that, because they are really doing a great job taking care of the kids. So,
but they won't allow other family members to visit the kids at the house.
You guys have not seen those children since January 7th or before?
No, we've seen them probably a few weeks after that, but hardly. When we start searching, the first couple days because the area that we were searching is by the house. It's a park close to the house. It's walking distance. So we actually saw them a few times when we were doing the search. And then after that, then he actually, didn't want us to see, not verbally said, doesn't want us to see. We text him, we called, we went knocking at the house, and they didn't open the house, and again we go up a week after or 2 knocking in the house, but they're not there.
It took a few weeks, little by little. He would cut one string at a time, so there was no strings, and now there's zero connections with the
And,
kid, and the
and
communication it's all been blocked.
it almost seems like right in line of how he controlled when they were together and how things were kind of not going good, like with controlling movement and tracking movement. It almost seems like he's using these kids in that same fashion. Like, in other words, no, you can't see the kids. The cutting off of communication. You could have FaceTime. You could have done a multitude of different things to give, at least to let you guys see them and tell them you love them. And because they have to be confused. Their mom is not coming home. This is
You
five.
know, they're asking questions, and they've been thinking about their mom. I mean, that's just the kids. They missed their mom. I mean, she was a loving mom. She did everything for them. So
This is a testament to how evil he is. And I'm sorry, actions speak louder than words. And he could say all he wants about the media vilifying him and that people on social media. Well, guess what? If you would do just a little bit. Now, we're not asking him to do headstands, but if he was to come out and say, hey, I want to do whatever I can do to help move this case along. I want to clear myself. I want to take a polygraph. I want to do this. I want to do that. But it seems like it's just a big shutdown. And you guys, wound up a couple of days into this thing, hiring, I guess, a private investigator or attorney. He seems to have done a fantastic job from the get-go. I watched a little bit of what he did. I know you don't have to speak about him, but I just say that I saw his walkthrough and the things that he did. And I mean, that is an investigator's dream, to have access to something like that and to be able to push that off to the Chula Vista Police Department. And once they told him stop, as a professional, you stop. You know what I mean? And they are working night and day to, as Bill said. Bill, you mentioned to me before we went live, they want to get their ducks in order, and you don't want to strike to get something that may not finish and seal the deal. You want to strike when you have all of your ducks in order, and you can just come down and go, boom, the long arm of the law. Here we go. Just like Barry Morphew over in Salida, Colorado. I'm sure Mary, Chris, and Richard have seen that case. A mother was reported missing on Mother's Day 2020. The husband, uncooperative, same situation here like Larry, not cooperative, and 360 days later, they have him under arrest for murder first degree. And those police took a lot of beating because they weren't given bi-weekly updates. In Salida County, you got a whole goose egg, zero. There was not one press conference, with the exception of the very first day when she was reported missing. He did a news conference, and then you didn't hear anything. So naturally, us and all the people who are watching were like, oh, these police are doing nothing. They stink. They're no good. But guess what? They came down with a murder first degree, and he's behind bars. And they're going to prove their case over there. Linda Stanley is going to, seal the deal. But, listen, guys, I got to say, I have the best community, and I want to quickly say thank you to criminal defense attorney Joe Murray, retired NYPD police officer. He says, you are beautiful people, Richard and Mary Chris. Listen to Bill Cannon and DutyRon. I had to put my name in there too. He's truly the sharpest of the finest. God bless you and your family. Thank you so much, Joe Murray, for those kind words for Mary, Chris, and Richard. And I gotta piggyback onto that, guys. What I've witnessed from afar, and I am just one of many hundreds, thousands of people who are admiring what you guys are doing from a distance. I'm in New York, you're in California, and I gotta say, my respect level for the two of you is just like over the top. And I'm not saying it just because you're here with me. I said it to Bill before we went live. I say it to Chris McDonough. What I see you doing for your sister-in-law and your sister, Mary, Chris, and Richard, is nothing short of just beautiful, just beautifulness of loving, caring family. This is what somebody would do. This is what I would do if my sister was missing. I love my sister, and if something happened to her, I would be with a bullhorn every day. I would be parked out in front of locations. I'd be searching fields like you're doing. I'd be renting a trailer or buying a trailer and going out and do the searches. It would be nonstop. So I'm sending you strength, positive vibes, and good positive feeling from New York.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. We love you. And I'm going to just read a couple of messages in the chat. We love you. I'm going to put it on the screen here. It says, we love Richard and Maricris. Dear God, the world loves them. These are just all, random messages coming on in. Two very kind people praying for your sister's return, says Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Donna Munoz sends a lot of love and prayers. Thank you so much for that. I'm just showing this to you guys. I've been ignoring the chat because I wanted to pay attention to you guys. So Pauline says, Maricris, I agree, DutyRon. Richard and Maricris are just beautiful people, loving and kind. These are the kind of things that you could watch and listen to all day long on social media, guys, on live streams like this, where there's hundreds of people watching and, praying for you and your family. And I told you my aunt, who's a Catholic nun, is saying prayers with all her nun folks. All the nuns are praying for Maya's either return or us to get closure for you guys. And I know this is so stressful for you guys, and I can't tell you how much, our hearts weep for you guys as well. When we see you, upset, it makes us upset. So, we want to do the very best that we can. So what I am going to say to my subscribers and followers, if you can, I'm going to link the GoFundMe and a Venmo or some type of way you can contact me, and I will put you on to is that good, Maricris and Richard, the Venmo, like how I did with you guys?
Yeah.
I'm going to share, because these guys are out every day doing searches, and every weekend. It's now 5 weeks in a row. They're on the at that location of the abandoned golf course, and they're searching for personal effects. They're searching for anything. And this is 5 weeks. It is. It's a difficult thing, and it costs money to do this stuff. You need to buy supplies and water and people to come and do safety meetings. They don't just let you go out and search in a pair of shorts and Adidas sneakers. You got to come prepared. You guys want to talk about that for anybody who wants to volunteer or come down and help?
Yeah, here in California, the weather's changing drastically. It's just increasing. It's here in San Diego, it was like almost 90, and that's San Diego. Places that we're searching, it's well over 100 degrees. If you can, come support the family, Balanza, and bring some good hiking shoes, jeans, long sleeves, a hiking stick, and we provide all the safety stuff. We do have whistles, radios, we have food and water and snacks.
But come with it's almost like a hiking gear. We do have in the area that we're actually searching. As Ron mentioned earlier, there's snakes. So bring snake gators if you guys have. Also, we've seen a lot of ticks, but we do have some repellent for that. But just come in a good condition, hydrate, and that's all we're asking. We just want to make sure everybody is safe, and in a good health also, because we don't want them to be passing out, and we don't want any
incidents. Safety is our goal always. It's our number one goal. Your safety, our safety. So we will, we've in the past, we told volunteers, we thank you for being out here, but we can't allow you to go out there in sandals. You can't go out there in sandals. You're going to get hurt.
Correct.
But, you want to pass out waters, or if you guys have any ideas that, we could talk. I mean, everybody's useful. We don't turn anybody away, but, and, it comes to the point where we're just desperate for an answer. We're desperate for anything, a clue. We talk to the CVPD constantly, almost every single day.
Right.
Just ideas, and I just wish they could give us another spot where we could go search of an area of interest. We did, we hit the area that they gave us pretty hard. We were there constantly every weekend. Every weekend with 20 up to 50 searchers. Did come on Saturdays and Sundays, and sometimes we'd search during the week. But we have a website now. Maya's website. That they
Let's put that out. What is the website, guys? So I can link it down below.
Helpfindmaya.com.
Okay, helpfindmaya.com. If one of my moderators can please put that in the chat, and I will put it up and highlight it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to just quickly update some of the folks on some new stuff, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. The Chula Vista Police Department said that they're continuing their work with a multi-agency working group, including the San Diego's District Attorney's Office. You and I, Bill, know any good investigation, you need the District Attorney to be on board to bring charges forward. They review the case file and all the evidence. That's their purpose. Plus, they have an investigative component as well. I know you want to chime in, Bill, but let me finish this thought. The San Diego District Attorney's Office, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Bill, you want to talk about that multi-agency there quickly?
Well, look, it's always good to have the expertise of different agencies that may do different things. And you mentioned the district attorney. One of the other things you need the district attorney for is to draw up search warrants, draw up court documents, maybe to bring Larry in. You know, they're trying to get him to respond to court. And the other thing is, look, the district attorney works in conjunction with the police and makes investigative decisions. And ultimately, when they do pull the trigger on this case, and when they pull the trigger on Larry and it's time to lock him up, which I think they're going to do shortly, or it's going to be a decision between the police, the district attorney, the FBI. Everyone will put their heads together and they'll determine whether they have enough to, in fact, not just arrest him, but prosecute him and get a conviction.
Bill, I wanted to ask you quickly, the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, do you think that has to do with his service in the Navy? Because is it true, Richard and Maricris, that that Larry served in the Navy?
Correct. Yeah, he did 4 years in the Navy, and actually, my sister also is a civilian contract with the Navy.
A contractor, civilian contractor.
Yeah, so she's a contract specialist.
Okay, so the Naval Criminal Investigative Service is going to give their component of probably what he did while he was in the Navy, and they're going to use the data that they have on him if he was ever in any trouble, or if they ever thought something was wrong psychologically with him or anything like that. They'll share that information, and that's why they're on there. New updates include the Chula Vista Police Department interviewing 2 more individuals, 11 new search warrants issued, and reviewing 10 new tips. Now, those 11 new search warrants, let my audience know so they don't get confused, and anybody that watches this replay, that could mean a piece of evidence, like an item, like a phone, another computer, another document, or another item. So 11 search warrants doesn't mean search warrants for people's homes in 11 different places or 11 different houses. It could be a car. It could be for an electronic device. Correct, Bill?
That's 100% correct. Yes.
Yes, thank you. The Chula Vista Police Department updated investigative steps and the efforts are following interviews of total 61 individuals, including family members, friends, neighbors, and witnesses. Maricris and Richard, I would assume that you guys are included in on that number. Written 42 search warrants total to include residences, vehicles, cellular devices, electronic devices, call detail records. That's subpoenaing T-Mobile or Verizon or whatever the carriers were used there. I believe it was T-Mobile. Vehicles, cellular, electronic devices, call detail records, financial records, as you said, Bill, social media, and cloud data. You need to go and get a search warrant from a judge to subpoena the phone records, the Facebook, any of his social. So that's included there. A search warrant served on the home 1/23/2021. Search warrant served on the Millete relatives' home on 4/1/2021. So these are all the things, and these are all the steps that were taken. Now, guys, I know you don't have all the time in the world, and I appreciate that you're here with us. I don't want to hold you guys, while we get into this. But I need to just let my audience know some of the steps, because some people are from outside the country and they might not be following it or just came across this. So I want them to know that this is the work. yeah, this is the work that's going on. Sometimes, you know, I don't like to put you guys through this again. Well, you know, I know you've heard this many times, but we like to, as police officers and detectives, we like to be thorough in what we're talking about.
No worries. We have time. We have time.
Right. Okay, good. And I have my good friend Bayan Wang from, he was a news reporter at 23 ABC in Bakersfield, and he is now in Denver. I have him also. He's going to be joining us. Maybe he can give us a little bit of his insight. I know he might know about this case, but we're going to talk about another case with him. So if you guys don't mind, I'd like to add him because he is now in a Denver affiliate, and he is good friends with Vinny Politano over at Court TV. So I want you guys to be introduced to Bayan Wang. So I'm going to introduce here Bayan Wang. Thank you so much for taking out the time. Congratulations on your new assignment, Bayan, and thank you so much for being here with me, Billy, Mary, Chris, and Richard.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, hey guys. I've been tuning in this whole time. My heart goes out to you guys. I'm incredibly taken back by your guys' experience in the situation before you. I can't imagine any of my family members going missing and not knowing what happened to them. And, you know, several months ago when I was deciding where I wanted to work next, San Diego was an option. And so I started looking into Maya's case a little bit from afar. And yeah, it's really horrible because you guys want to know exactly what happened, just like the media does, so they could share it with the community. So when you guys ask for help, we could connect the resources to you. And that's just the reality that's before you guys now. And yeah, my heart goes out, and prayers definitely sent your way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, guys, so Bayan Wang has covered, and I'm honored to call him a friend. He covered the missing boys that I referred to earlier in California City, Orrin and Orson West. He did such a fantastic job, along with some of his counterparts and from, you know, the neighboring affiliates there, KGET and, you know, 23 ABC, who he represented. They did such a thorough job. I was so impressed from, you know, the East Coast. You know, when you look at the West Coast, the East Coast, it's an operation. There's like a different kind of news. They operate differently over here because there's so much more news. But he's over there in Bakersfield, kind of a, you know, not a busy market, but this was huge. This was a huge, and it continues to be a huge missing children. You know, we're talking about your sister, an adult. Now we're talking about 3 and 4 years old now, 4, I think, and going to be 5 years old. These two boys from California City, and he did such a fantastic job with it. I reached out to him, and he was like, "DutyRon, I will come on and talk with you about this case." And he came on and spoke with me many months ago, and we became friends. And I'm honored to call him a friend. He's a valuable source from the media, and I'm sure that his connections, if he can help you guys out in any way with Court TV, and I don't know if Vinny has done a piece on your sister, Mary Chris. If he hasn't, this is the guy right down here below me that can maybe put a little message in Vinny's ear. Maybe, hey, would you like to, or could you highlight this case? So
we actually have with Vinny the first 2 weeks. Actually, when my sister went missing, we went live, you know, with Vinny Politano Court TV with the unsolved case file that they do the segment. So almost every other weekend, I mean every 2 weeks we were with him, and then now it's like almost every month. I think they still calls us and do an update, and I believe, was it Monday? Just this week, I think we did a segment also with Vinny. I believe maybe Monday or Tuesday this week. Monday night, yeah.
That's great. I was unaware of that, and I apologize that I didn't know about that.
Oh, no, it's okay.
No worries, yeah.
Maybe I'm being a little overzealous. I wanted to, you know, utilize the professional that we have here.
Oh, yeah,
Well, I'll tell you this. What I will say is, you know, Richard and Mary, if you guys ever have questions on, how the media covers something or ever want to know how things kind of work, behind the scenes, DutyRon, I give you permission to share my contact with them. I definitely be an open source, and you guys could pass anything along to me that you'd like. So
thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bayan, could you let the listening audience, because most people know where you've gone, but maybe some of the replay viewers or some people who might stumble across, could you let them know where you are now?
Yeah, this is actually, we're still unpacking. We try to clean this up as much as we can before I knew I was going to come on here. I recently moved to Denver, Colorado from Bakersfield, California. My first day at the ABC 7 station here was on June 9th. And I got to tell you, it was hard leaving Bakersfield because, there's some stones there that I really feel I left unturned. I really wish there was some closure to this case. I made so many relationships with people who are just wondering where these boys are. And DutyRon, since you've been playing this on YouTube, people have been tuning in from all over the place, but you would imagine how the community feels that are actually there, going to these press conferences that law enforcement have, going to these prayer vigils, crying with the families that are involved. That was really tough for me. It was really a hard pill to swallow, but I'm really fortunate to be with the same parent company as 23ABC, the EW Script Station, which also owns KMGH-TV, ABC7 affiliate out here in Denver. So, I was able to join Vinny live yesterday to keep those boys in the national headlines. And it's something I'm still planning on doing out here. It's still my top priority. I'm still following up with law enforcement. It's a responsibility, just because my, tenure in Bakersfield ended, it doesn't mean I'm going to stop, because there's a lot of people that count on me, a lot of people that count on you, DutyRon, to keep, the information rolling. And I think it's a civic duty more than just being a reporter and trying to build my career. It's furthering the community and putting out information there that I have access to. And I'll continue to do that until there's closure to this case. Hopefully that closure is that these two lovely boys are out there somewhere, and that there's just been a really nasty trend of miscommunication. We got our fingers crossed for that, but you and Bill Cannon know as well as I that sometimes when it gets this long, the end, it might be something people don't want to know about because it's so gruesome and so tragic, and prayers and fingers crossed that that's not the case.
Yeah, that's what we all hope and pray for. And the same thing with Maya's case. We hope for a miracle for her to come home. But as the days go on, as the law enforcement professionals know, as the news media knows, it dwindles down. And Bill and I have seen so many missing person cases here in New York end not well, and we've seen some end very well. So, that's the thing. And I want to share with the audience really quick, and this has nothing to do with you guys, Maricris and Richard, but I thank you for hanging out here with us, because we are talking about a case that is similar to your sister here. Again, there's so many of these cases that don't get the conversation, that the same conversation that we're able to have here. So you are blessed. We are blessed to be talking about these two boys and your sister. I want to share with the audience, for the folks back home in Bakersfield, those of you who watch this replay, and Bayan, I know I have your permission to say this. You and I had a candid conversation when you were in the process of transitioning and changing career locations. You told me at that time to keep it quiet. I did. But you had a conversation with me outside in the backyard of my house. You just came home from the airport, and you said one thing that really stuck out in my mind. And I know you won't mind me sharing this because it was so powerful, and it really made me realize how good of a person you are and how good of a man you are. Is Bayan said to me, DutyRon, and he always calls me DutyRon. I wish he would just call me Ron, but he calls me DutyRon all the time. So he goes, and this is a candid conversation. He goes, DutyRon, the one regret I have is I'm leaving Bakersfield without finding those boys. And that stuck in my heart, because news reporters, cops, people who do repetitive work, job after job, story after story, the jobs I was referring to as us cops, Bill can say this, we refer to each case as a job. It's part of our job. So we're on to the next job. You go from job to job. reporters go on from case to case and they, cover different stories. And when I heard Bayan say that, I was like, he is not jaded. He is really, he is in it. He's in this case. His heart was in it. He was feeling just like a regular human being. We're not just like machines. So I hope you don't mind that I shared that, because I wanted people to know. How, I mean, I'm many years your senior at 57. I said to myself, this is a good boy. This is a good man, and I was honored to have that conversation. And it came so, it just came so naturally. You just said that to me. And I was like, I went right to my wife and I said, honey, this is what he just said to me. This is a news reporter from Bakersfield that is now moving to, I didn't even know at the time, because you were being very secretive. I didn't even know where you were going, and it was pissing me off. But I said, he just said that to me. She was like, wow, he's a really good person, So I hope one day to be able to meet you and shake your hand and say thank you for what you do. Really.
Hey, likewise, I reciprocate all of that, and I really appreciate just the authenticity that both of us are able to have when we talk about either the boys or just about life. And I appreciate you extending your platform to allow me to come here on and talk about that. And I don't consider you just a colleague; I consider you a friend. And we have had those candid conversations, and I hope they continue, because you and I, we do report on these things, but sometimes it weighs on us too, and sometimes we just need people to talk about it with. So yeah, thank you, DutyRon. Ron.
Yeah, thank you. I finally got a Ron out of this guy. Bill Cannon and I have spoken so many times, and Maricris and Richard know this to be true. The media are, an intricate part of getting the message out. Without media, missing persons like Maricris and Richard could tell you, they're an invaluable asset to getting a wide audience. You're getting national and sometimes local and sometimes international coverage. Because when Bayan Wang, when he was at 23 ABC in Bakersfield, when he did stories, Vinny on Court TV used his pieces to put their pieces together on stories. So, God bless you, Richard.
Thank you.
So these guys are an intricate and important part to getting the message out. Now, sometimes Bill Cannon one time said, the media sometimes is not our friend. What he means by that, and it's not anything bad to Bayan or any great news reporter.
Right, yeah.
It's just sometimes we have stuff that we don't want to get out that gets out because they're doing their job. And then we cringe about it because we we didn't want that to get out. But when we're looking for somebody and we want people to come and we want the public, because we need the public to help us solve these cases, we rely on the media. We rely on guys like Bayan Wang to put a story forward. You as a family, Maricris and Richard, you almost beg and rely on these people. There's people that
definitely, yeah.
Bayan can tell you his inbox gets filled with people. Could you cover this case? Could you cover this case? And they're only human beings that can only do so much,
Right.
And they're relegated by what their bosses tell them and what the producer says and what this says and this one says. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work and that things that go on that he has no control over. But at the end of the day, we need each other. We're all here in this together, and we got to work together. And that's a great piece of the puzzle that some people may not understand how it all gels together and works. Law enforcement, with the media, with the public, with you guys, with family, we solve these cases working together. So,
if I could say something with that too, DutyRon, that the media has been helping us tremendously. I don't think without the media putting my sister's story out there, I think my sister's story probably had been on a cold case right now. And then I just want to thank also again our good mentor, Chris McDonough, because he's the one that actually told us, get the media going. Don't let it down. You don't let it, slow down. Keep the media going. Keep your sister's name out there. Put it on top of your priority. It's the media that is going to help you. So that's what we did, and we kept on talking. That's why my husband said any interview at all, we always say yes. So that's what been what keeping my sister's story out there, and I think that's what keeping my sister's case rolling.
Billy Little said the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that. And I know Bayan and all of the great news reporters out there that may listen to this or may not, they will appreciate that, because it's a job that's really thankless. They do what they do, and then they go on to do another story, and they don't usually get that. So that's really nice, and I appreciate that. Listen, I feel strongly about the partnership that I talked about here. It is a fine line that we walk, with the law enforcement. We have to keep our sometimes tight-lipped. We have to keep stuff close to the chest. We don't do it to be mean people. We do it so we can maintain the integrity of our investigation, bring justice for the family, bring the bad guys to justice, and it has to be done with a lot of secrecy. A lot of things cannot get out. And Bill, I mean, I know you want to talk about this. You're just chomping at the bit. It is just so important for the quietness, and that makes family members like yourself and sometimes the media get in a tizzy, because we want that information. We want to report it. So that's the problems that we have, that we're up against. But again, Chris McDonough, she's referring to, Bayan Wang, another YouTube channel. It's called The Interview Room. I will link Chris McDonough's channel down below. He helped them get a meeting with the Chula Vista Police Department at one point. So he's done a lot for them. He worked as a homicide detective over, I believe, in Oceanside, California. So he is, 30 years as a professional. He worked with them closely to get a meeting, right, guys? He got you guys a meeting with, or helped barter a meeting with Chula Vista?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
He mediated that, so he came with us and then put us together with the CVPD, and that opened our communication with, and our start our teamwork with the CVPD. So yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
He did do us a big favor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really special that you guys were able to have that connection with law enforcement and talk about things, off the record, so that they could reassure you and that you guys could ask your questions. And that's really, really, Bill Cannon and DutyRon, maybe you guys could weigh on this more. Is that not kind of rare to have that kind of access to inside the investigation like that?
Well, they want to keep the family updated, but as DutyRon said before, certain things they have to keep secret. They can't let them know every single thing they know, because it goes back to elementary school. That old expression, loose lips sink ships. And if you know some things, you may inadvertently tell someone that tells someone else, and then they tell someone, and before you know it, it's out there and it becomes a wild rumor, and then it takes on a life of its own, and it may not, what they told you may not end up to be the truth of what you told someone else, and it could just create a lot of complications.
Right.
Certainly.
Yeah. So that's the importance of, and again, you guys might be frustrated because you get the meeting with them, but now they're not opening the case file and saying, here, this is what we got. We're going to be closing in on so-and-so. Just give us such and such time, and we're going to be able to do this. They're not going to ever do that, because it would be, it would hurt your sister's case. It would hurt it. Right. But I pray every day for closure, for justice, for your sister, and for you guys to be able to, to rest. This is very stressful. I could see it on both of your faces. Mary Chris, as Chris McDonough said, Richard married up. He takes good care of you. I could see how you guys are a loving couple, and that's what gets you through these tough moments, is your family and your loved ones. So, think about some of the folks who don't have that support system. So I think, Mary Chris, you're blessed, and Richard, you are blessed as well.
Thank you.
I hope you guys will be able to come back and join me again with updates. For those of you who are here in the chat and you want to donate, I am going to link the GoFundMe and the Venmo to help support their search for her sister, Maya Millete, missing since January 7th of 2021. They are searching every weekend, and if you're in the San Diego and Chula Vista that area, look them up. Go to the Facebook group. I will link it down below. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm not going to end this live stream, but I'm going to let you guys go. Any parting words for the audience, guys?
Again, we thank everyone who's been coming and supporting us and helping, and even people from the entire nation, and even in not just in the country, also outside international. So just want to give a thank you to everyone who's been out there giving us their prayers and all. And again, we also want to thank with Chula Vista Police Department, that they're working closely with us, and I do want to thank them for letting us work together.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. And if there's anything I can do for you, or Bill Cannon or Bayan Wang, I will share his information and bills. And we also have a defense attorney who's very well versed here in New York. He's in the chat all the time, and he's a good friend of ours, Joe Murray. I'll share his information with you. And if you guys have any questions, free of charge, he would answer them for you if you had any questions. He would be another resource for you guys to utilize. So, yes, thank you guys for joining, and I will see you soon.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bayan.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
meeting
Good night
you.
now.
Thank you. Bye.
Good.
All right, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to be quickly wrapping this up, but now that I have Bayan here, 5 more minutes, if you don't mind, with us, me and Bill.
Fine. Yeah.
I want to show just a little piece, if it's okay with you, from your heat spell in Denver. Would that be all right if I played a little piece there? I want everybody to see your new work.
Yeah, sure. I got air conditioning here, so play any heat spell you want.
Good. It's only 2 minutes.
And with
so
record temperatures
hold
affecting
on.
all of
Let
us,
me-
the city
let me
of
play
Denver is
this.
opening its doors.
I swear, technologically, I'm not that advanced, but I'm gonna get it. Here we go, guys. Yay. All right, here's a little bit of Bayan Wang. I think this was just from yesterday or the day before.
To help people escape the heat.
Libraries and rec centers now are being set up as cooling centers. And Denver 7's newest reporter, Bayan Wang, spent the day in the heat and joins us live tonight. Bayan, everybody is allowed at these facilities.
Stop laughing, Bayan.
Hey, good evening. That's right. Anyone's allowed to go to these facilities. And I got to say, a cooling center sounds really good right now. As Mike was just telling us all, temperatures reaching just over 100 degrees in parts of town. And I got to tell you, it certainly feels that way. So officials are really urging anybody who is starting to heat up and wants to enjoy some cold water and cold AC to go to these facilities, which actually started operating yesterday. But we did meet some folks today who found more creative ways to stay cool. Tumbling down a water slide is an ideal way to beat what has been a record-breaking week of hot temperatures across Denver.
As you see, I'm barely out here. I'm sweating.
And that's why the mini water park in One Highland neighborhood isn't just for kids.
I'll come out here and put my feet in the water for a minute and probably take 3 cold showers just to get through it.
Getting through the heat has prompted officials to roll out cooling centers at 10 recreational centers, according to City and County Director of Recreation, James Salinas.
Trying to beat the heat, we just want to come in and cool down a little bit. All of our facilities have air conditioning.
Hospitals have also been monitoring the heat spell, with Health One confirming at least 6 heat-related patients since Tuesday within their facilities. So far, no hospital has reported an influx of these patients. For Denverites like Bruna de Ghost, the heat isn't enough to stop a stroll outside.
The number one goal is to still have fun. It is summer, so.
And even though the kids have a greater tolerance for the blistering sun, what they don't know can still hurt them.
You have to have hats, sunscreen, try to make sure they're indoors, especially with the baby. They can get really overheated. So you want to make sure that they always have, that they get little breaks.
And as of right now, officials are currently planning on keeping these cooling centers operating till at least tomorrow. But if the weather calls for it, they said they have really no issue in continuing these cooling centers, extending the time frame until cooler temperatures come our way. For now, we're live in downtown. Bayan Wang, Denver 7.
Bayan, thank you, and welcome to Denver 7. I'm glad you're with us.
Yes, I love it. I told him I love that little piece that he did. Thank you, Bayan, for letting me share that. I saw you laughing it up. He was like a little kid just laughing in the background. But I had to play a little piece from your debut there. I know. I think.
Thank you.
Did I see something before that? Weren't you in the studio? in Denver, or was that your first?
So I accepted a position here as a weekend anchor and reporter. So it's kind of what I was doing back in Bakersfield. So I started off on the desk last weekend and then got out in the field. I got to tell you though, the heat here, it gets a little uncomfortable, but in Bakersfield, it's expected to be like over 108, 109, 110. Yeah. Today, tomorrow was that earlier today, and possibly tomorrow too. So not that bad in comparison to that.
I told you to bring your winter coat when you told me finally that you were going there. I was like, make sure you go get a nice Parker or something,
Oh, believe it or not, I'm saving up now because I heard winters here can be, a little different than what we're used to in California. So yeah, I don't own, any heavy jackets or boots or anything like that, but definitely saving up in the piggy bank right now.
Wow.
DutyRon, something I did want to say was, a lot of people have been messaging me saying, hey, is your social media going to change now that you're a Denver 7? It's not. The name is on the Bayan Wang 23 ABC Facebook page. Guys, I'm still going to post updates on the California City Kids. And if you guys just wanted to follow my work in general, my Facebook is going to change from Bayan Wang 23 ABC to Bayan Wang Denver 7. If you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I'll follow you back. If you're not a loony, DutyRon, you and I both know there's been a lot of crazy folks following us and with all these different conspiracies alleging that I did stuff. So if you're one of those folks, I'm probably not going to follow you back, but follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll shoot a follow back. My tag for both of those is Bayan Wang, BAYAN. WANG. DutyRon, you could post those on your page too if you wanted to.
Yeah, as always, I will link it. I will link clickable links down below in the description. As always, I know Bayan dogged me once for forgetting that, but I go back and I do all the videos. I make sure that all the credits are in there. I will link down below, and I'll also have a hyperlink on DutyRon.com to Bayan Wang as well. That's my producer. That's your hint to get your butt in gear and get that. Bill, you and I both use Joshua to do our websites. He's tremendous. So we will have everything Bayan Wang down below. He's not going to not give updates on the boys. And I saw a question for you. Barry Morphew is from the Colorado area. He's not from the Denver area, but Salida. Will you be doing, or your station probably be doing updates on that case because it's ongoing?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, you guys got to remember, I'm the rookie reporter now here in this new big station with a bunch of veteran reporters, a lot more experience than I have, reporters that I'm looking to learn from. So yeah, if they give me a shot at it, I'll take it 100%. But right now we got other reporters who are on top of that case too. So my time will come and I'll take the chance. But I definitely am doing my research on that right now. Should I get a chance at it?
Excellent. That's great. Bill, it's just like a new jack coming out of the academy, right?
That's right. He's got to make his bones before he gets a seat in the radio car, right?
There you go. It's all
exactly.
It's like one of the guys that comes out with the polished gun belt and everything's all shiny. The criminals know it. They're like, that's a new cop. We can tell just by the gun belt. So that's Bayan Wang, all spit shined and polished with a nice. And the ladies in the chat are like, ooh, he's so handsome. Did anybody see that? He's so handsome. Look at his hair.
Did they see that? Yeah. Well, I'll take the compliment, but my wife is actually sitting right there.
I'm watching.
So I'm happily married. But you know what? I'll take the compliment. Thank you so much.
It's all done in a respectful way. None of it was there was no challenge there. It was just my community. I have one of the greatest.
No, I know. I'm completely joking. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
It was a great joke. It was a great joke. But yes, the ladies love when we have Joe Murray, who's the criminal defense attorney. He's all silver. He's like they call him the silver fox. He's a handsome guy, and when he comes on, his better half is right next to him, and all the ladies are like, "Ooh, Joe Fox, he's really easy on the eyes." That's what goes on. But I want to say a special thank you to everybody in the chat who positively interacts. My guests, again, we do this with respect and dignity to all of the victims and their families, and my distinguished guests, Bayan Wang and Bill Cannon. I really appreciate the positivity, the positivity that was shown in the chat, the messages. I was trying to highlight as many as I can, but I didn't get to see all of the chat messages because I was paying attention to Maricris and Richard. I hope you all understand that. It's a matter of respect when they come on the show. I can't be just reading the comments off. But I want everybody to know, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I upload or when I do another live video. Go over to DutyRon.com where you'll get all links to very good outside links like domestic violence, computer crimes. The Class Kids Foundation is up on my website. There's so many great resources on there for victims of crime or anybody that is experiencing. We even have Joe Murray on there, criminal defense attorney. If you get into any trouble, you could check him out. Ryan Investigative Group is on there. Bill Cannon's a Police Off the Cuff, and I'm going to have Bayan Wang added to that, so it's a hyperlink. Again, I want to say very special thank you to my moderators for keeping everything civil in the chat. I know you guys don't have really heavy lifting on my live streams, but you're always there. I know I don't have to watch or look because you guys are tremendous. And the replay viewers, thank you to each and every one of you for the replay viewers. We will continue to cover Maya Millete's case and Orrin and Orson West missing out of Bakersfield and California City. Any updates that come, we will be sure to cover it, and I will be in back and forth with all of my contacts, with Bill Cannon, with Bayan Wang, with people on the ground. I have a couple of folks, thanks to you, Bayan Wang. Gary, I'm still in contact with him. Carrasco, he's great guy, and he's a valuable resource for me. So anytime that anything is breaking or anything that's going to be happening, I'll be able to get some information in regards to that. Bill, do you have anything for the troops?
No, I mean, these are very tough cases. It's like the police have to just keep their nose to the grindstone, keep taking those tips, keep following up on those tips, and just keep moving forward and not give up, and just stay focused. And as I said, try to keep the family apprised as much as you possibly can, but just keep moving forward, and one day this case will be solved.
Right. And we do need the public's help. So if you know anything in regards to both of these cases, Maya Millete is going to be the Chula Vista Police Department. I will link again down below the anonymous tip line for Orrin and Orson West. I'll have the Bakersfield tip line and the anonymous tip line, and anything that you guys have. If you have any information and you don't feel comfortable going to the tip line, on DutyRon.com, there's a space to leave a tip. Go there, and it doesn't mean a tip money. It means a tip for any of the cases. You can leave it with me, and I will forward it to the proper authorities. Again, a lot of respect and love for everyone here in the chat. Bayan Wang, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I am off to Aruba tomorrow. I'm going on vacation. So I will be down and out for a week. Those of you who
deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. Me and the missus haven't been on vacation in 2 years due to COVID, as we all know. But yeah, a much needed vacation. I will be taking a break from the YouTube land. I will make available some re-uploads of some of the better videos like this one for you guys to watch while I'm away. And I will definitely update my Patreon supporters and all of the channel members with some exclusive videos that I upload from the beach. So we will speak to you guys on next week. I'll be back on Saturday. So a lot of love and respect, guys. Thank you again for joining. And on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon, Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff, make sure everyone subscribes. Bayan Wang, thank you guys for joining, and good night from New York City, Denver, and upstate and East Cupcake. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Take care.
Thank you.